Absolute and complete domination. We're going to go over Tristan and Franz's game against Great Britain. This is the Orlando Magic Nation, your source for all things Orlando Magic on YouTube. For Magic fans, by a Magic fan. I'm Edwin Valentine, and I want to thank you very much for clicking on this video and spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. Hit that like button, hit that subscribe button, or drop a comment below. Let me know what you thought of Tristan and Franz's play today. Franz had a pretty quiet game, I'd say. Not really quiet in that he didn't do much. It was just a matter of he didn't have to expend as much energy as he normally has to. In 18 minutes, he scored 18 points on 6 of 9 shooting, 3 or 4 from 3. We're going to get to that on the film. And 1 rebound, but 10 assists. So he had a double-double today. So he was much more of a facilitator as opposed to trying to just drive and score all the time. He was being aggressive and driving to be able to set up his teammates, which felt a lot more like what he does for the Orlando Magic. He doesn't look to score that often, I feel, with the Orlando Magic. So a lot of driving, and his three is he's starting to hit those threes. So let's hope that this is something that continues and he's found something in the last 3 games. And then we're going to move over to Tristan. Tristan, in a game high 24 minutes and 56 seconds, scored 25 points on 10 of 12 shooting, 5 of 7 from 3, with 5 rebounds and 2 assists and 2 blocks as well. We'll go over that a bit in the film. So Tristan, this is an A-plus version of his role. On Team Germany and on the Orlando Magic, it seems that his minutes have not been consistent. He's been mostly relegated to a few spot minutes here and there whenever Franz needs a breather. In this game, he actually played a lot with Franz, so that was an interesting little wrinkle that hadn't been happening so far in EuroBasket as much. So it was really cool to see the two of them. You're going to see in the film that there was a few times where they were passing it to each other, just like they were on the Magic. So in that way, I think it's a pretty cool thing, and it's actually a pretty good thing because Franz normally is the one that leads the bench unit on the Magic, and since Tristan's going to be coming off the bench, it's good that they continue that rapport between each other so that they have a nice, easy transition into the upcoming season. But Tristan stayed on the corners, but then he did a really good job of cutting whenever he needed to and scoring inside, which is something that he had been lacking so far in the tournament. His jump shot hadn't really been hitting. He was only 1 of 7 coming into the game from 3, but he also was missing from mid-range and inside. So I think that was the positive of today for Tristan. Not only the fact that he got playing time, I think that's also the thing, right? The basketball players are rhythm, and especially dependent on their role. It takes some time if they're used to a certain role to kind of mold into that new role. This is kind of the similar role for him, but maybe because he played so much in summer league, or he played big minutes in the few games he played in the summer league, maybe that's why it took a little bit of time for him to get into the rhythm of being someone that comes off the bench for 15 minutes, 10 minutes, something like that. So in the end, for whatever reason, with more minutes and more responsibility, because he had the ball a bit more in his hands in this game as well, because they didn't play their backup point guard low for whatever reason. So he had a lot more ball handling, and that's why he ended up with his 2 assists here. But also there were a lot of hockey assists where he had made the right pass, and then the other guy made another pass for an easy basket. So they dominated Great Britain. Like I mentioned, there was no doubt after the first 5 minutes of the game. Let's say they finished the second quarter. They outscored them 30-9, and then by then it was a 27-point lead going into half, and then they ended up winning by 63, I think it is. So absolute domination. So a lot of guys didn't have to expend so much energy. It almost looked like they were going at half speed, and they still scored 120 points. So Tristan did very good game. We'll go over the grades at the end in the recap, but we will go to the summary of their stats so far through EuroBasket. Franz, in his 4 games, is averaging 21.3 points in EuroBasket, about 5 rebounds, and about 4 assists. Obviously, some of these numbers get jumped with 1 game since it's such a small sample size. But he's shooting 56% from the field, 50% from 3, and 75% from the free throw line. So that 50%, as you can see, is obviously in the last 3 games. He's shooting 60% in the last 3 games. We're going to go over the film, so we'll see how his jump shot is looking. I contend that when he's catching and shooting, and it's much more fluid. When he's shooting off the dribble, then it's a little bit more of a hitch. But again, as I talked about on X, and I'll talk about here, we need to embrace the hitch. If he needs the hitch to be able to hit when he's shooting off the dribble, keep on hitching. Doesn't matter. As long as he's able to replicate it and shoot a high percentage while using the hitch, whatever, doesn't matter to me, as long as it goes in the end. So I think we should be embracing the hitch if it's something that's going to be with us for a while. It's not as pronounced as it was at the end of last year, so that's a good thing. He's just taking a moment as he's going in. It's not as fluid of a shot. It's more of a second stop. It's like a second. It's just a very small minute thing, but you can see it. And again, I say we embrace it because it's going in even when he shoots it with a little bit of a hitch. So that's all that matters there. Tristan, in his 4 games at the EuroBasket, he's averaging 10.3 points, about 4 rebounds, and about 1 assist on 56% shooting, 43% from 3. He was 1 of 7 going into the game, and now a 5 of 7 effort is really going to jump your average. Again, these are all small sample sizes, so it kind of is what it is, but that's what it is. 43% from 3 and 83% from the free throw line, since he only had 1 game where he shot free throws. So the guys are playing very well. Team Germany as a whole is dominating right now. Their differential is through the roof. They've scored over 100 points in each of the 4 games they've played. The next game is against Finland in a couple days, so we'll see if this continues. And if it does continue, then they are going to be playing against the 4th place team in Group A. We don't know who that's going to be yet, but it's likely going to be between Estonia or Portugal. So that would be in the round of 16. But let's see how they finish off this next game against Finland. And if they're able to win that one, then they win their group and then they advance. They've already advanced to the round of 16, just mathematically. So it's more of just a tune-up for a knockout stage. It's going to be much more like the college March Madness. So we're going to need to make sure that every single game matters after the Finland game coming up. So now let's transition into the video. So if you've seen my last few videos, I've been having copyright issues just because FIBA is rightfully making sure that we don't just use things to use things. I contend that I'm using the footage to add value to it so that we're able to focus on our guys, but I've done something a little different and hopefully it's a lot more smooth and fluid for the viewing experience. So thank you for your patience on that. So if we go to the video here, this is the very beginning of the game. The first play, as we see, Schroeder has the ball up top of the key. Franz is over on the left side, and he's going to cut through the center. Have a nice little back cut there. Double cut, double screen. There we go. And he's going to be able to catch the ball. Nice, easy dunk. Here we go. Franz, again, it was a facilitator in this game. So he had 10 assists. So this one looked like he was going to shoot a jump shot. Then saw Oscar da Silva, Tristan's older brother. So a nice easy one here. And there's another one that Franz drops off. An easy 2. Now here's going to be his first 3 of the game. Nice and smooth. Again, he wasn't off the dribble, so he was able to take it and shoot it pretty smoothly. This one's a step back. Again, there's a guy next to him, so he doesn't have the time to sit and think about it. Nice, smooth swish on that one. Here he goes. Look at that. Behind the back, left hand. Again, he's been shooting a lot more with his left hand, or at least laying up a lot more with his left hand. I contend that that's going to really benefit him when it's time for the NBA season, because whenever he uses his right hand, when he's coming off the left side of the basket, he brings the defender into the play because they can just try to get it right at the rim. But if he's shooting with his left hand on the left side of the basket, then he's going to be able to obviously shield the defender a little bit more, or make it more difficult, make it longer for the defender to have to come and try to block the shot. But by then he will have released it. So I contend he continues to shoot with his left hand here. I think that's going to be beneficial for the Magic this upcoming season. So here's going to be a long midi. Comes back, a little step back. Again, when he comes right off and he has no time, it comes off smooth. You missed that one, but again, as long as the jump shot looks smooth, or continue the hitch. Like I said, embrace the hitch. As long as it goes in, that's all that matters. So here he goes. Here, nice little step through, finish and one with the left. Super simple. Cuts through the center there. That was a foul call, so there was no basket on that one. He was posting up over on the left side of the basket, kind of made a sweeping motion through the lane and got fouled there. Here's another one of his threes. Gets the ball off. Oops. And again, there's a defender right there, so he doesn't have really time to focus and take his sweet time and think about any hitch. So shoots right smooth. And again, he's got such a nice stroke. We've seen it in his free throws, which is weird because you would think at the free throw line you're thinking the most because you have time to think. But when he hits his free throws, he does his little spin, goes and shoots. But for whatever reason, from three, maybe because it's a bit further, he thinks a little bit more. But when he doesn't have time to think, super smooth. Here's a nice pass in again to Tiemann. Easy shot. So Franz, I guess at this point he's kind of checking his range. So he's going to launch a really deep one. See how he had that little bit of a hitch. That one I can understand because he's going to need some extra trajectory to be able to get it because it was such a deep three. But I think he was 3 for 3 at that point. So maybe it was just a heat check just to see how he's feeling at that point. So now we're going to go to Tristan. So Tristan, as I mentioned, played a lot more minutes than he's been accustomed to so far in this tournament. So in the first quarter, he was in and he was active. So here he's going to do a nice little drive. This was kind of upbeat here. Nice easy basket. Now here is his first 3-pointer. So he misses his first 2 threes and then ends up the game with 5 for 5. So this is his first one. His feet weren't set when he shot. He's coming off action. So he still has a good form, which is great. Just missed it. That's fine. Here's another one. This one has his feet set. Again, he's not over in the corner. I'd love for him to be a bit more in the corner. Obviously, it's a more difficult pass for the defender, especially the way they're defending it. But for me, first of all, his brother is wide open. So if he would have just passed it to his brother would have had an easy 2. But he ends up launching the 3 here. Feet set. Good form. Ooh, just missed it right there. So in this one, again, as I mentioned, Franz and Tristan played a lot together. So you're going to see Franz going to be passing it to Tristan in these next few highlights. So Franz to the cutting Tristan. Tristan is in the paint right there. Nice little floater. Franz again to Tristan. Tristan's over on the right side there. Not in the corner, but right above the break. He's no one around him. Nice, easy, fluid splash. Another one. A same spot, basically. This time there are 2 guys in the area, but as I mentioned, Great Britain didn't really come with any kind of aggression or purpose, it felt like. No disrespect to them, of course, but they just really didn't contend or contest real difficult. This one, he drives right through the middle. So he was over on the left side at the same point of the 3-point line, just on the left side. So he ended up cutting 45 degrees right into that basket there. So he comes up and he makes this nice, easy shot there. Defense. He's already had a couple big blocks in this tournament. Same, no different here. The guy looked like he'd got a little bit past him, but with his athleticism, which I talked about in his player profile, he's able to have a nice, easy rejection on that one. Spikes it out of bounds. He said, "Get that out of here." So here again, he has the ball at the 3-point line. This one is a better contest. So, but still, he just rises up and hits it right there. And he played with Schroeder as well. If Franz wasn't in the game, then Schroeder was his point guard. Schroeder, it's nice to see how fluid when there's a point guard who's so used to having the ball is able to get it to people, because Franz is able to get people the ball. Even Tristan is able to get people the ball whenever he's ball handling, but it's just so smooth when you can see a pure point guard. So that's why it's great the Magic got Tyus, because it's, as I've been breaking down his film for Tyus's player profile that's going to come out in a day or so, it's just so nice to see how someone can move so fluidly with the ball. So a nice little fancy pass between his legs there. Tristan's gonna make a nice, easy layup. Here at three, there was a good contest. So this is what I hope to see a lot in the NBA season. If he's in the corner and the ball comes to him and they actually do contest, then for him to just make a nice little sweeping move, you can either hit the midi there or find an angle and get to the wrap and get to the basket. This one's a step back three on the left side. Again, that one was a bit of a contest, but he's on fire at that point. And then right here, look at this pass here. He's surrounded by guys, and he sees that the guy's at the 3 point line. That's a nice find right there because it didn't look like he had anywhere to go, and for him to pass it right where the only that guy can catch it was super nice. So here's the very end of the game. They needed to shoot one more time for the shot clock. And as I mentioned, in EuroBasket, it's not as disrespectful necessarily to shoot when there's less than 15 seconds left in the game, just because it's cultural in that tournament because you know that point differential matters. So here he shoots the ball with 16 seconds left, already had 22 points in the game, a deep three from this time, and splash as well. So both the guys played well in this game. Franz didn't have to really work up too much of a sweat and really was showing off everything. He had the dribble in traffic. So hopefully he's been working with Coach Shamgod back in Orlando. And if not, then the German coaches are doing a great job of making sure his dribble is tight because that was where he would turn the ball over every so often with the Magic last season. So granted, again, Great Britain's defense isn't great, so that might also lead to it and him being able to get through the paint without getting stripped. But as we saw, him dribbling in the open court, which he's been doing all tournament long so far, has just been outstanding. So Franz, for me in this game, A, and it was because it was economical, didn't turn the ball over, 10 assists, no turnovers, 18 points in 18 minutes, super efficient, very simple. Him, Schroeder, and Tice, both none of them scored over 20 points in this game because they really was a team effort in that everybody who played for Germany scored, and it just was by committee in this game. Tristan, A plus performance in his role. Again, his role was a bit expanded in this game by playing a bit more, but it still was something that he was able to handle with ease. A plus performance for Tristan. So again, the next game for Team Germany is going to be against Finland. It's going to be their last game of their group stage. And if they win that, then they are going to be the number one seed from their group. They're in Group B, and they're going to play the fourth seed of Group A, which right now is between Estonia and Portugal. Either way, they still will be heavy favorites in the round of 16. But then after that, of course, is going to get a bit more difficult with higher quality opponents after that. Thank you very much for spending a little bit of time talking Magic with me. If you found value in this video, hit that subscribe button, hit that like button, or drop a comment below letting me know, or letting me know what you thought of Franz and Tristan's performance today. Thank you very much, and I hope you're having a great day.